Thank you. I call the member for Newtown.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In a single generation, we have gone from a low-waste culture where everyday objects were valued and repaired to a culture where 50 billion plastic bags are used and thrown away every year. The war on waste, currently screening on the ABC, has stirred a lot of community debate about our wasteful ways, and people in the electorate of Newtown have long been concerned about this issue. Today, I bring their calls and the calls for the Premier and the New South Wales Government to act when it comes to the war on waste. Unfortunately, we aren't allowed props in this chamber, so I wasn't able to roll the giant plastic bag that Craig Rucastle rolls around during the series into here, but all credit for him for doing so. So, Premier, here's what our community would like to know. Why haven't we yet banned the single-use plastic bag? What we do know is that it takes thousands of years for plastic bags to degrade, which means that basically every piece of plastic that was created, has been manufactured, still exists to this day. It is time for the New South Wales Government to act to ban the bag, and while we are waiting, Newtown locals are encouraging people to use cardboard boxes to carry their shopping, knowing that the so-called green bags need to be used over 100 times because they too are made of plastic before they can be used and be worthwhile. It's hardly revolutionary. Our grandparents were doing it before. People could just take their own shopping bags to the supermarket until this government acts to ban the bag. We in the electorate of Newtown also love our coffee, but we do despair at the sheer number of takeaway coffee cups used and thrown away each day. When we were elected to the electorate of Newtown, we made a commitment to each other that in our office we would ban takeaway coffee cups from our office, and on a rough calculation, factoring in a few slip-ups, we have saved in the order of 2,500 takeaway coffee cups from being used just in the 2 years since we were elected as the member for Newtown, and I would encourage all members in this place to think about making that small act in their own electorate offices. A big shout out too to the cafes across Sydney and New South Wales who give a discount to people who bring their own cup, a great way to be able to encourage people to bring their own mug. Premier, the people of Newtown would also like to see you act to stamp out fake recycling. When we asked our constituents about this, one of them told us a disturbing story, that in a food court around the centre that there are twin bins, red for general waste and yellow for recycling. However, I have noticed, this is the constituent talking, that when emptying the bins, the staff combine the bin contents into the same disposable vessel. When I asked the employee about this, he told me that they just go into the same compactor. There is a need, as we've seen on the war on waste, to expose the fake recycling here and to crack down on big businesses and big companies that are doing it. And while we're at it, we need to take action to make sure that big supermarkets are not engaging in the ludicrous practice of wrapping up individual vegetables and fruits and packaging them in plastic. That is a simple action that can be taken, but I don't think that we can wait for Coles and Woolworths to become environmentally conscious organisations on their own. This is something the New South Wales Government can act to do. And until then, it's great that Newtown locals are served by local food co-ops and bulk food stores like Alfalfa House, and I would like to give a special shout out to Food Bank, who we have had the pleasure of working with in the Newtown electorate to ensure that locals in public housing in Surrey Hills, Redfern and people in the Marrickville area have access to the benefits of this great initiative. We also should talk about plastic food containers. Take Out Without is a global campaign aimed at reducing plastic pollution from takeaway food. It encourages people to bring their own containers, and as we saw last year, the French Parliament took steps to say that by 2020 they will ban the use of plastic takeaway containers and cutlery in their shops and food outlets. There are so many good people in this world trying to assist the war on waste, but we need the government to act to be able to make sure we see this change. Another serious issue that needs to be addressed and that is emerging is that of fast fashion. We have gone from the idea of seeing multiple seasons for a year to now seeing micro-seasons with more and more initiatives and changes to see that basically the production of short-use, badly made clothes from synthetic fibres, and that is having a huge impact not just on the environment but also on the social implications of who are making those fast fashion. I'm glad to say that I support the fashion revolution and I always try to know who made my clothes. Premier, the community in Newtown and across our electorate and across New South Wales are calling on you to join the war on waste, to stop the disposable and the single-use society that we have done, and basically to step up and be a part of making sure that we reduce the waste that is produced in our society. The government can act to make this difference, and we call on you to take that action.